Today, we're going to talk about a huge shift in how software companies think about growth. It's about unplugging an old, broken model and firing up a brand new engine, one that's actually built for the long haul. So, what's the big secret to this new engine? Let's dive in.
Okay, let's just start with a brutal, honest truth. For any software as a service company, if you're standing still, you're actually moving backward. The competition is just relentless, and that pressure to grow is always there. And this one idea drives almost every single decision a SaaS founder makes, but it can also lead to a really critical, sometimes fatal mistake.
And yeah, here's that mistake. So many companies spend a fortune on marketing and sales, just pouring new customers into the top of the business. But they totally ignore all the customers that are quietly slipping out through these giant holes in the bottom. This whole leaky bucket problem, it means you're running harder and harder just to stay in the exact same place. That leak, well, it has a name, and it is the absolute villain of our story today: churn. It's the silent force that can just dismantle a business from the inside out, eating away at your revenue and completely sabotaging your growth before you even know what's hit you.
So what is it exactly? Well, customer churn is just the rate at which your customers stop doing business with you. It doesn't matter if you measure it by the number of customers or the money they represent, it's a direct measurement of how big the leak in your growth bucket really is.
And the cost of ignoring this leak is, well, it's staggering. I mean, the data is crystal clear on this. Getting a brand new customer costs anywhere from 5 to 25 times more than just keeping an existing one. Every single customer that churns isn't just lost revenue. It's a massive and, honestly, a totally unnecessary new expense you have to pay just to replace them.
The long-term damage here is just profound, especially when you start talking about a company's value. For founders, for investors, churn directly hammers your valuation. I mean, look at this. A SaaS business with low churn, we're talking under 5%, can get a valuation of 8 to 12 times its annual revenue. That's fantastic, but let that churn creep up above 10%, and your valuation multiple gets cut by more than half. Churn isn't just some metric on a dashboard. It's a vital sign of your company's actual health and its future.
Okay, so we've laid out the problem in pretty stark terms. Now, let's talk about the solution, and it really requires a complete shift in your mindset. We have to stop thinking about retention as just, a defensive move to plug leaks. We need to start seeing it for what it truly is, the single most powerful engine for growth that you have.
And this is the new model in action. The old way was the funnel. It's linear, it's expensive, and honestly, it's leaky by design. You just spend more and more money for worse and worse results. The new way is the retention flywheel. It's a self-perpetuating cycle where your happy, successful customers don't just stay, they buy more, and they become your best salespeople. This creates this compounding momentum, it lowers your acquisition costs, and it dramatically increases the lifetime value of a customer.
Now, to steer this flywheel, you need a new North Star metric: net revenue retention, or NRR. This isn't just about stopping people from leaving. It tracks the total change in revenue from your existing customer base. So, and this is the crucial part, when your happy customers expand their usage or buy more products, your NRR can actually go above 100%. This is the holy grail. It's called negative churn, and it means your business would keep growing even if you didn't add a single new customer this month. Wild, right?
So, the big question: how do we actually build this flywheel? It's not magic. It's about having a deliberate, structured playbook. So we're going to walk through the 3 core pillars of a world-class retention strategy that you can actually start using.
All right, here are the steps to building your own retention flywheel. First, you have to absolutely master that first impression with an amazing, value-packed onboarding. Second, you've got to shift from being reactive to being proactive in making your customers successful. And third, you need to create these tight feedback loops to listen to your customers and evolve your product right alongside them. Okay, let's break each one down.
Everything, and I mean everything, starts right here. Those first few interactions a customer has with your product, they're the most critical moments of their entire journey. This is where they decide if your solution is an indispensable must-have or just a disposable nice-to-have. You simply cannot afford to get this wrong.
The number one goal of onboarding is to shrink the time to value as much as you possibly can. The key question is this: how fast can you get a new user to their very first aha moment? That magical point where they truly get the value your product delivers for them? This means creating a super smooth, guided experience that prevents frustration and helps them get a meaningful win fast. It's all about building that momentum from day one. So once a customer is onboarded, the work is really just beginning. The best companies out there don't just sit around and wait for problems to pop up. No, they have a system for proactively monitoring customer health and making sure they are continuously getting value from the product. This is the entire world of customer success.
And the core tool for this proactive success is the customer health score. The best way to think of it is like a credit score, but for your customer's engagement. It's not just one single thing, but a combination of all these different signals that together paint a predictive picture of how healthy an account is and whether they're likely to stick around or to turn.
So what actually goes into a health score? Well, it's a blend of hard data and human insight. Product usage is usually the biggest piece of the pie because it's the most direct measure of how embedded your product is in their day-to-day life. Are they using it? Are they using the key features? Then you layer in what they're thinking through surveys like NPS. After that, you add in service data, like how many support tickets they're filing. And finally, you add a more qualitative pulse check from your customer success manager. All of this gets weighted and combined into one single, really powerful score.
But look, a score is totally useless without an action plan. This is where a simple red, yellow, green system becomes your operational backbone. A green customer? They're healthy, they're happy. Perfect candidate for a case study or maybe an upsell conversation. A yellow customer is showing some warning signs. Time for some proactive outreach, maybe some targeted training. And a red customer? Well, they're a critical churn risk, and that should trigger an immediate, all-hands-on-deck intervention.
Okay, the final piece of the playbook is all about creating a symbiotic relationship with your customers. Retention isn't just about keeping them on their current plan, it's about growing with them. And that means listening very intently and building pathways for them to get even more value from your partnership over time.
So this means creating real systems to collect and actually act on product feedback, not just letting it die in a spreadsheet somewhere. It means building a community where your customers can help each other, which strengthens their investment in your whole ecosystem. And critically, it means designing clear, value-based upgrade paths so when a customer's needs grow, you have a logical next step for them. Your best, most profitable new revenue will always come from the customers who already know and trust you.
So, we've walked through the whole playbook. Master the first impression, proactively drive value, and listen and evolve. When you truly commit to these pillars and put them all together, the results you're going to see aren't just small improvements. They are truly transformative. And here it is, the ultimate payoff. Foundational research from Bain & Company has shown that improving customer retention by just 5%, just 5, can increase your bottom line profitability by a staggering 25 to 95%. Just think about that for a second. A small, focused effort on keeping the customers you already have gives you an absolutely massive return. It creates a more efficient, more profitable, and ultimately a much more valuable business.
So, we'll end with this question. Take a good, hard look at your own business. Are your teams, is your budget, is your entire company culture just obsessed with the endless chase for new leads? Or are you building a system, a true flywheel, that is fundamentally designed to create successful, loyal customers who will power your growth for years and years to come? Because that choice, well, that choice will define your future.